to ravepubs.com/InfoComm for all your InfoComm news. Hey everyone, Steph Beckett here at InfoComm 2026. I'm here at the Xyte booth joined by the one and only Andrew Gross. How are you?
Good stuff, thanks.
Tell me how the show has been for you.
The show's been great. It's been really nice talking to a lot of enterprise IT and AV decision makers. And honestly, I think one of the biggest things that we've noticed is just a different set of questions and expectations from the audience.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about what you guys do here at Xyte.
Sure thing. So I run our go-to-market globally here at Xyte, but Xyte.ai is really the industry's first and only cloud-native AI-powered single pane of glass for monitoring and managing all these amazing vendors here at InfoComm.
Amazing. And y'all have a lot of really cool AI integrations, which I know the theme of the booth is Xyte AI. That's kind of like your logo and everything now. So the question that I want to first ask you is, we talk about designing to the end user customer a lot, but are we quite to the place where we are designing for the end user customer as the AI agent?
Not exactly, in my opinion. I think everyone's going to have their own take on this, right? I mean, AI it's not new, but it's moving so fast that everyone changes their opinion on it as time goes on,
yeah,
right?
It's true.
But in general, to address your question, I think what we're noticing most, both from the show and our own industry analysis, is most manufacturers in any industry begin to design AI tools that are focused on their product or their platform specifically. And in this industry, I think we've also fallen into that a little too much. Look, we do it. We have an AI agent built into our platform, leveraging the OpenAI API. However, the demands and expectations of the modern IT and AV decision maker is more about us working better with their AI workflow.
That's
and
true.
So the biggest thing that we have shown at this trade show and that we're developing moving forward is not just for you to use our AI agent, but the ability to take everything that we do very well and all the amazing vendors here that are monitorable and manageable in our platform and port it out to the AI terminals and agents that the IT teams use in-house. That was the biggest thing.
That's very fair. Do you think that we are quite at a place yet where AV and IT have converged? I know that that's been something we've been talking about for probably 10 or 20 years now, but now we're at the place where when I talk to people, they're like, oh, well, we have a cloud-based solution for our hardware. So I guess AV and IT are the same, and you have a little bit of a different take on this.
I do, mainly because when we say and have said AV and IT converging, we again focused it very clearly on our own products. And I mean by us as in the industry.
Yeah.
And right now, with where the AI sort of, hockey stick curve is going in terms of the transformations and the different AI tools that are launching, we have to stop thinking about how my product is, for example, converging to IT, but rather, what are the expectations and the demands of now the new decision maker that I am selling or marketing to, which is the IT executive at the end customer, and how does my tool or my product or my platform actually work the way that they want to work.
That's fair.
And AI is a huge part of that as a generalization, but their expectations in IT are that you work with my AI-enabled tools. And so openness and integrations and the ability to port out via MCP and CLI are a great example of that, and that's something that we take to consideration in designing our products very strongly.
Since you are so close with that kind of enterprise customer, what challenges are they experiencing right now, and what are they kind of asking for right now that they weren't asking for maybe even a year ago?
I think the biggest challenge is actually not so much product-based. Especially where we're coming in, we're at a place now where we are integrating to 99.9% of all the vendors in the AV IT space. We get visibility to close to 100% of your connected estate. So that gap has been filled. We do it, right? The biggest challenge that I'm seeing, not just for our platform but others, is building a business case to do more with less. And building a business case, honestly, to buy anything nowadays is not easy. And it's turning into a product where we're beginning to help our customers build build that business case on not just as why is my product better than somebody else's, but actually how does my product affect my bottom line? How does my product enhance productivity? How does my platform help me save costs or maybe even make money? And that is true not just for the enterprise IT decision maker, but also for our integrator community as well.
And the thing about you guys is that you kind of have all different people and different kind of customers in the AV industry use you guys at some form or fashion. So you have to kind of work with manufacturers, you have to work with integrators, you have to work with AV IT end users. That is very difficult. Talk a little bit about what kind of walking that line is like, because all of those different customers want all different things.
Yeah, we always reference it here as like three legs of the AV stool, right?
Yeah.
Is the integrator, the end user, and the manufacturer. We've talked about collaboration for a long time. Honestly, we're the first true, in my eyes, collaboration platform that allows all three legs of those stool to come together. And for those that maybe aren't too aware of how we do that, we partner directly with manufacturers so that they can design and really control how their products are being managed and data is being sent to the cloud. So they're controlling the experience for their customer and they're making it better. The second big thing, of course, is the integrator is now we're really the industry's first managed service platform. So now that the manufacturers are making their devices visible and controllable, now integrators can begin not just to resell products, but sell service contracts, leveraging a service platform.
Yep.
And end users, as they begin to get more hands-on, they want more data, and data affects how your AI tools are going to really reading and controlling it.
Yeah.
We're now supporting them in the tool as well. So we have these three legs of the stool coming together for the first time on a single platform to work together.
And we're seeing this conversation so many places on the show floor, but to be honest, y'all were the first people who brought this up
I agree.
3 or 4 years ago. So honestly, I think that y'all were so ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it's a good balance to not be too bleeding edge sometimes.
Yeah.
But we do have to kind of straddle the line. We hope that this industry is beginning to look at us as a industry thought leader in that world. We're not just designing to what the AV/IT decision makers and buyers in this industry want now, but what they're going to want tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that couldn't be more relevant than today because of the pace that we all have with different expectations and different tools that are at our fingertips almost weekly. Actually, even just this week, we were demoing Claude Code and the Codex integration into our platform, and we saw that they came out with an automations tab.
Yep.
Immediately now supported. You can actually automate reports, automate commands from Claude Code, directly affecting your Xyte estate
Amazing.
in a matter of a week now with their launch.
Very cool. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for your time. Last question for you, where can we find more about Xyte?
Sure, we can always find out more information at xyte.ai.
Awesome. I appreciate your time. And don't forget to go to ravepubs.com/InfoComm for all your InfoComm 2026 news. Again, I'm Steph Beckett, and we'll see you next time.